Hello guys, I'm back and today we will be discussing about the SMS gateway integration into your VPN server, and for that purpose I have logged into my console here. So here we will check like what exactly we can do right now while integration uh, while integrating your SMS gateway here. Okay. So this is my server, and here SMS gateway integration option is available under setting, and then inside the setting you have to go in the section messaging, and here you have option SMS gateway. So SMS gateway has got multiple options where you have to enter values, and then you have to save those settings and verify your SMS connectivity and whether you are able to send SMS or not. Okay, so first thing, how you will get the details which you need to submit over here. So you need to purchase these SMS server detail from your SMS vendor, and when you will be purchasing SMS SMS server details from SMS vendor, he will be sharing you a URL, something like this. You can see here. So you will be getting a URL something like this, a complete URL here from your SMS vendor. Now this URL has multiple things involved here, and just looking over here we need multiple details which we need to send here, and all these details are right now available inside this URL website. So first we need to understand URL, how URL has been created here, and how we can break down the URL. So we'll be looking the one of the available documentation. So see, this is this is the documentation available from the Mozilla side, and here we will understand like how URL can be break. So this is a very good article which actually help to understand like what exactly URL is and what all things are available inside that URL. So simply if you look and try to break down the things on this URL, you will simply, okay, let me zoom it a bit so you can see that how exactly URL looks. So in a URL there are multiple parts, so we will discuss those parts one by one, which we are right now going to use here. So first part is scheme here, that is part before colon slash slash. This is your scheme, and by using this scheme you are basically going to connect to your SMS server. And then second section is authority, which include domain name and port. So domain name basically will be mapped with the IP, and this will be the port of your SMS vendor server. So you need to enter domain name and port. So domain name and port need to be separated by using a colon. Now in general you might think that okay, the URL that we just looked here, it is having no such port mentioned over here, then why there is a specifically this particular port added. That this is for your information. HTTP, few ports are already binded with a standard number of port, like HTTP is binded with 80, that native, and HTTP is binded with 443. So if you are using those standard port, you don't need to mention those ports specifically, but if you are using a custom ports, yes, you need to mention those port numbers specifically. Something like here, that this particular site is binded with HTTPS, that means it is connecting with 443, and we don't need to specifically mention port 443 over here. Now after this section there will be a slash, and then it will be mentioning path. So this is basically path of file that you are going to request or access on your server. So a URL is basically, through URL you are trying to access some resource which is available on server. So now we are mentioning here path of your resource. Okay, now After mentioning the path, there will be again one separator, you can say, from where you can find okay that the other information is now embedded on the URL. So here it is a question mark. So after question mark, you are going to put your parameters, and of course your parameter will be mapped by using key and value pair. So something like that, key 1 is equal to value 1, and you can pass multiple parameters by separating those parameter using ampersand icon. So something like key 1 is equal to value 1, and key 2 is equal to value 2, and key 3 is equal to value 3. So you can keep adding multiple parameter what you are right now requesting from server. We will discuss in some different video about this anchor, because we are right now going to use this here. So this is how a URL need to be break down, and now let's look on our URL that how it looks. So this is one URL. Here if you look here it is a scheme, and because yes it is a standard port, it is using a standard port, we are not going to mention here colon 80. But yes, if you are willing, you can use it, there is no harm. But if it's you are not going to use any custom port, you can simply go with the standard scheme HTTP. And after this colon slash slash, this part is right now, this complete part is your authority server, which is having that domain name. So domain name is part, this part, and then port is this one, which is separated by column. Alright, and then this is the path which is going to be accessed on server. And as we mentioned that after question mark we are going to put multiple parameters which we are going to access on server. So you can see that there is a key value pair combination, like here there is a one key and is equal to value, then ampersand is there which is separating this parameter with another parameter up to here, and similarly this ampersand is separating again this parameter. 2 is equal to number, and then sender is equal to name of sender, and then username is equal to username, then password is equal to password, and then message is equal to text. Okay, so because this is SMS server URL, so we are expecting few things inside the URL, because to send a SMS to any end user, we need end user mobile number, we need a sender name who is sending this SMS, then we might require username and password, which we will be using to validate, which need to be validated on the server side, that to ensure that okay this is the valid user who is requesting to send an SMS. And then again the important part is that what text we are right now going to send to the end user, so that will be here. Alright, so now let's break down this URL like what we are going to use. So here we are going to break it something like this on the URL. Our URL is something up to here. This is our URL, and after this URL we are basically putting our queries, like we are passing our parameters. So beyond this, this entire thing is right now part of the SMS gateway request query. Okay, now just look that there is already one option available into our gateway, which is looking for our username and password. So definitely, because we have a separate option username and password, so we have omitted that option from this request query. So like you see here that the username password is part of this parameter, but we have removed because we will pass this through the separate boxes username and password. And again this HTTP, what is your scheme, it is your API ID, and then there is a response code. Now from where you will get response code, because there is no such thing mentioned in your URL, right? So to find response code, what you can do, you can change your URL something like that. You can mention number here into your URL. You can make it something like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 8. So this is kind of one user to whom we are going to send SMS. Sender name is this one, and Then you can put a username and password, and let's say that text that you are going to send, this text is something like this is, you can put like this is your OTP. So something like this, you can create a URL, copy this entire URL, and then you can go on your browser and you can paste this URL into a new tab. Okay, you can paste this URL over here, something like this one. Let me copy this URL. So here we can paste URL something like this, and then once we will hit the enter, the request will be sent to your SMS server. Now, the most possible response that you can see, it will be something like this. So I will just zoom so you can see that, because that is a sample URL, so that that we cannot just hit from browser. So there is one URL that we just write, and how it looks, how we can find a response code. So once we are sending a request to our SMS gateway, this will look something like this. Okay, so once your SMS is delivered, you will see a status message accepted for delivery. That means SMS server has accepted your request. Okay, and status, because it has been accepted to be delivered on the end user side, the status of your SMS is now 0. That means response code is 0, which is showing basically that SMS delivery is successful. So that means your status code is 0, and this is the same response code, because your SMS server is sending to you the status of the last communication, is saying that okay, it is a successful. So your status code 0 is saying that yes, what you have communicated, this has been successful. So your response code will be now changed to here exactly 0. Okay, there is one important part here that you might question, like what we should use here on request type, get or post. So most of the SMS server actually support get and post both method, but if you are sending everything via URL, then most likely it is supposed to go via the get option only. Okay, because through get request we are sending all parameter through the URL, and through the post we are sending parameter through the body of the request. This is a very basic difference about get and post. So how exactly we are going to do that? We are going to fill all those requested details, like here we have got here, right? So we will be putting all those something like this. Our URL is here, so we can copy paste the URL, and then we can put our query from here that we have separated just now. We can go with this option. Okay, and then we can put API ID HTTP, then username is kind of username, and then password. Okay, and then password is password. Okay, and then success response is 0. All right. By just filling this option, we are giving all those information which is required, but there is a question, where is your text and how your text will be replaced into your actual inbox, because we are not sending any text that is supposed to send to end user. This is just a text parameter, right? How we are replacing that text, which is actually need to be sent to the end user. Okay, so once you will submit it, you will okay, so let's do that. Okay, we have configured that SMS gateway ticket. Now there are lots of parameters which we need to first understand here, that has been put as a caps value. Okay, so something like your number, from where we are going to get number of end user to which we are supposed to send SMS. Then sender ID you need to mention here based on your organization, by which name you want to send, and then what message you are right now going to send to your end user. So number and text, how you are going to get that. All right, so in recent scenario there is a restriction that if you are purchasing an SMS server, you need to whitelist your SMS template from your SMS vendor, that okay, this is the SMS template that I'm going to use to send to my user, and you have to mention as well that by which name, I mean by what sender ID you are going to send. So these SMS cannot be marked as a spam and should not be blocked. Okay, all right. Now, so the SMS content that will be by default the text value that will be basically replaced here, that we will first talk, and the template that we will get from SMS vendor where we need to add it. So by default, the format for different kind of SMS are available here. We are right now interested for SMS. We are going to use for MF. Okay, so here one time password SMS content is here. So just click over here and you will see that the values, the text that we are going to use, and we will be replacing this entire text under that text field. We just spoke about the text field, this value, this text field. So this text field will be automatically replaced while the SMS will be shared by this particular string. Now in this string eventually you see that there are some information which has been mentioned as a caps, and you can see there are these keyword mentioned, right? So here SMS token, you see that there is a keyword SMS token. So this is a one-time password value, and this has been added into your template. So actual SMS token which will be generated and in the real time, that will be replaced into this field. And then again here in expired time, you see that the time when OTP will expire, that will be also mentioned over here, that at what time this OTP will be expired. Okay, and that setting we will look on while we will configure a policy in next upcoming videos for sending an SMS token, that we will look like how we can decide expiry time, that what should be the value for expiry time. But right now every OTP has an expiry time, and that will be shared along with your SMS token, right? So SMS token will be replaced with the actual SMS token, that might be 4-digit or 6-digit value, and this expiry time of your SMS token will be over here. Actual template you need to paste over here, and then you need to use those keywords so that your SMS token can be replaced by the actual value of the token and the expiry. This need to be done here, and once you are done here, you can send a test SMS from here. You can put and you can put your mobile number and request for test SMS, and that's how you can check that how whether you are able to communicate with your SMS server. Okay, there are few other things while integrating while integrating your SMS server. We need to check whether your SMS server is reachable or not. So you need to take your SMS server URL or IP, whatever you have got, and then you can go on the diagnose section, and then you can either ping from here by putting your URL, or telnet, you can do telnet from here. The most common issues that you might see, that the URL you are using that might not be getting resolved on your server itself, and that's why you might not be able to communicate with your SMS server vendor. So one important thing is that your SMS server should be reachable from your HySecure, because this URL is right now communicating on port 80. So your SMS server port 80 should be reachable from your HySecure, and because you are using FQDN, that should be also that server, your HySecure server should be also able to resolve this URL on your HySecure server. Okay, now because this is a single node server, so then you have of course got only two IPs. One is for your virtual IP and another is your node IP. But in case there are multiple nodes available here, then you can have multiple nodes. So you have to ensure that your all nodes are able to resolve the host name, and they are also able to reach to your SMS server from all nodes, to avoid the issues of SMS token delivery. Okay, and now one important thing that I have just left, we need to understand from where we will get this end user mobile number, the parameter that we have just mentioned here, that we have just not discussed. So here it is your two number, basically this is your end user mobile number, from where you will get your mobile number. So while you are going to integrate your Active Directory or LDAP, or you are going to create local users on your server, that might be different situation. And in that case, when you are going to integrate your Active Directory, you will have to mention your parameter, like from which parameter or from which attribute you are pulling your user mobile number. So something like this, like I have added one of my Active Directory, and here my mobile number attribute on my Active Directory is mapped against the telephone number. Okay, and when my SMS request will be forwarded from AD, we will receive mobile number which has been stored on my Active Directory against the telephone number attribute. It may be some different attribute like mobile attribute, then you need to replace attribute over here, so that is your SMS server is able to fetch mobile number from your HySecure gateway is able to fetch mobile number from your Active Directory, and your URL can be formed uh, appropriately to deliver the SMS token to end user. And once this is done, you can simply perform a test SMS option from this option, from here, and verify if it is working. How we are going to use this SMS server to deliver token, or how this SMS server need to be used while creating a multi-factor authentication policy, we will cover into the next upcoming videos.